to another episode of my Illustrated Ghost Stories videos. Hello. It's been a while, but I'm back and I'm here to tell you today the story of the walled-in nun of Borley Rectory. The legend of bricked-up nuns is as common in British ghost folklore stories as are jilted brides, headless horsemen or screaming skulls, as we've seen in a previous video. But one of the more famous ones is the nun of Borley Rectory, which is what we're looking at today. Borley Rectory is a house in Essex and was named by the famous psychical researcher Harry Price as the most haunted house in England, if the title of his book about Borley Rectory is anything to go by. Borley Rectory certainly had the appearance to match with the claim as well as the activity. It was a huge, isolated, monstrous and grotesque, ominous structure that has stories of ghosts, scary noises, scary sights, scary sounds of the entirety of people living within it. So it sort of gained haunted house credentials almost the moment that it was occupied and as soon as someone moved in. And of course the ghost of the walled-in nun is one of the more famous spiritual residents of the rectory. And it's said, as these stories often do, that it began with a monk and a nun from a nearby nunnery who fell in love and decided that they would elope. Their affair was uncovered, their plans were scuppered, and the monk was hanged and the nun bricked up alive as punishment for their misdeeds. These tales are so prevalent that one could even argue that maybe stop building nunneries and monasteries next to each other. But you know, that's not the point. It's said that in this particular instance of the nun, that her ghost is seen on July 28th. And on one such a date in 1900, the four sisters of the rectories, the resident Bull family, and that's as in the name Bull, not a resident Bull family of the rectory, the resident Bull family, four of the daughters, all claim to have seen the ghost of the nun on the 28th of July 1900. So they all claim to have witnessed a nun-like figure gliding across the aptly named Nun's Walk as they returned from a tea party. The figure was silent and its face obscured, and one sister thought that she appeared to be saying her rosaries. When the girls approached the figure, it vanished, and subsequent residents before and after this incident who lived in the house have told similar stories of encountering a ghostly nun on the premises. This is alongside of the stories of seeing ghostly horse-drawn carriages, hearing strange noises, seeing flying objects, and even strange smells at the property. Some claimed, unlike the sisters, to have seen the nun's face, describing it as miserable, pale and sad, and they described the nun as a frail girl aged somewhere between 18 and 23. The rumour, of course, being that this is the nun who was bricked up for her affair with the monk. And the official term for such a punishment of having walled-in criminals, victims, however you want to look at it, is immurement, I think it is, which literally comes from the Latin for im, which is in, and murus, which is wall. So immurement. You might want to look this one up for yourselves. But it literally means walling in. And there are reports of it from across the globe for many a year as a means of execution. And this ranges from Persian prisoners to disgraced Vestal virgins in the Roman Empire. And it was also the fate of Elizabeth Bathory. If you are familiar with her or not, she's the infamous Blood Countess from Hungary who murdered hundreds of servant girls who came to work for her, and is suggested to have been an influence of Bram Stoker's Dracula as the most prolific female serial killer in history, and someone rumoured to have not only been incredibly sort of sadistic and torturous to her poor victims, but also to a rumoured to have bathed in their blood afterwards. This practice of walling people in as a slow and scary death appears in all sorts of literature. It's in Matthew Lewis's The Monk, which is a really seminal piece of Gothic fiction. It features in work by Edgar Allan Poe, and it's even in an episode of Jonathan Creek, but I will not spoil it for you by telling you which one. There's nothing to say concretely, if you'll pardon the pun there, that there was actually any routine practice of walling up naughty nuns in this country, and I haven't been able to find any names of these horny nuns, horny monks who are running away together, so we don't know if it is true or it is sort of an anti-Catholic sentiment that went around in the day, but we do know it was prevalent in fiction, and it does make an entertaining ghost story to tell. So I hope that you've enjoyed my little story here today. As always, check out my other videos if you've not seen them, like and subscribe if you want to get notified about the next ones, and if you've got any stories that you want me to cover, just pop it down below and let me know. I'll see you next time. All right, bye.